everybody, E here. Hello everybody, E here. Welcome back to Stephen King Ranked. Let's just jump right into it. And at number 35, we have a very divisive book, Rose Madder. This one, I enjoy it a lot. In fact, this week and next week are going to be relatively short videos because I don't have a whole lot to say about these books other than what I liked about them, but also these books in the next 2 weeks are right smack dab in the middle, and that's how I feel about them. I like them a lot. I don't love them, but I like them a lot. And Rose Madder is one of those. I love the way it ties into the Dark Tower. I love the story. I love that Cynthia shows up in this book, and then again in Desperation, and then again in Regulators. I really enjoyed that. King, the villain here, the human villain here, if you want to put it that way, the husband is your typical King bully husband. Drinker or on drugs or whatever. It's basically I don't want to say a doppelganger, but it's like he writes these characters. I think maybe he acted a bit like this when he was drinking and drugging. Maybe not, I don't know, but he writes them very well, and he writes them quite a bit. But yeah, I love all the parts that other people dislike, which is all the stuff that, the supernatural stuff. The stuff in the painting and with the painting, especially when she goes into the painting. That's my favorite part of the book. So yeah, that's number 35. And at number 34, we have the final book in the Bill Hodges series. I'm going to go ahead and call it that. End of Watch. A lot of people complained about this one because the title is a spoiler. I mean, I knew it was going to happen even before he announced the title of the book. It being a trilogy, King rarely lets his older protagonists, type that one down there in the doobly-doo. His older protagonists live. Ralph Anderson, the list goes on. But if you're older in a King book, you're probably not going to make it, bruh. So this one, I gave this one 4 stars, the same rating that I gave Finders Keepers. But on Goodreads, I gave it 5 because I was rating the entire series as a whole. Same thing with the Dark Tower. I was rating the entire thing. I wouldn't give the final book. I wouldn't give Book 7, The Dark Tower, a 5-star rating. I give it probably 3.5, 4. Same with this one. I give it a 4. I like it more than Finders Keepers, hence its placement on this list. I really, once again, loved all the supernatural aspects of it. People complain that he always goes to the supernatural, but it's Stephen King. What do you expect? If you're a constant reader, you come to expect these things. A, he usually writes terrible endings, and B, there's almost always a supernatural element. Even when there isn't, there's stuff that's hinted to. But anyways, so yeah, that's number 34. At number 35, we have, sorry, not 35, 33, we have Joyland. This one is way down on the list, but I have a very short story to tell you about it. When I first read this one, this is the first Stephen King book that I enjoyed between it and this coming out. It's my first 5-star. Yes, I disliked Misery. I disliked I didn't dislike them, but I didn't love them when I first read them. But since then, I've pulled my head out my ass, and I love most of King's stuff. But this one, it felt like a return to form, even though he was doing the noir side of it. And once again, this doesn't fit in hard case crime. Neither did Colorado Kid. This one was at least good. The Colorado Kid was not, and this one was at least good. I loved all of the carnival fair aspects, all that stuff. I love reading about that anyways. It's my favorite subgenre. The Pilo Family Circus, Geek Love, Twilight Eyes from Dean Koontz. So many fantastic books. Something Wicked This Way Comes, of course. I love that. It's one of my favorite subgenres, whether it be horror or anything. Palisades Park is literary fiction by Bernard, I forget what his name is. I always forget his name. That's a fantastic book. I just like amusement parks and things like that, especially if they're haunted, but they don't have to be. I love stories set in that environment. especially if an author can get you to like smell the smells and see the sights, man. And that's what King did. I really enjoyed this one, but once again, it's one of those books. There's so many good books ahead that this just had to go somewhere. So here it is at number 33. And at number 32 is a book that is actually my very first Stephen King book, but I didn't read it. I wasn't a big reader when it came out. Let me see when it came out, the original time. 85. I was 5 years old, bruh. 5. When this book came out, Mom got it, and she put it, it was back before the Great Book Closet. If you guys want to know about the Great Book Closet, I'll link you guys down there in the doobly-doo. But she hid all of the horror books from me. That was before that. Of course, I was only 5 years old. She didn't think I was going to go through her books. I don't remember how old I was, maybe 6 or 7. I know I was in school because I went to school and I was like, guys, you gotta look at this book. I didn't read it. I just looked at the pretty pictures. How long did I say pretty? Anyways, Bernie Wrightson illustrated this. But since then, I mean, he died several years back, but he has since passed away. But I remember looking through this book and just finding so much joy in how horrific it was. I was one of those kids that got at the Scholastic Book Fair. I was one of those kids that was drawn to like Christopher Pike and R.L. Stine and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark and all that stuff. I was drawn to that stuff as a kid. But this was the first adult horror that I had a chance to look at. I hadn't even seen a horror movie at this point in time. So yeah, this one, it probably should be higher up on the list, but like I said, this week and next week are just kind of thrown together, man. So yeah, number 32, Cycle of the Werewolf. And at number 31, the last book of the week, we have The Gunslinger. Yeah, this one. This is an extended prologue for the Dark Tower series. As long as you go into the Dark Tower series knowing that, you'll be okay. The book doesn't really start, the characters aren't really introduced, none of the stuff that really matters starts until the drawing of the 3. And Little Sisters of Illyria happens before this one, but it is not, it is canon to the storyline, even though we're going to talk about that at some point in time in a Thursday Theorist, how it doesn't actually fit. I actually think it's another turn of the wheel, but we're talking about the Gunslinger right now. And yes, I got all they're all back here. I have the first edition hardcovers of all these. My entire Stephen King collection is first edition hardcovers. But with this one, I like that it starts off the journey. I of course like it better than Wizard and Glass. I like it better than Song of Susanna. I like it better than Dark Tower, Wolves of the Kala. I like it better than those. I don't like it better than parts 2 and parts 3. But this one, there's so many people out there who end up stumbling across this book and going, oh look, this is a fantasy series from this well-known author. Let me try it. They read this book and they're like, ooh, I don't know about this. Even though the Battle of Tull is amazing. Best part of the book, that and There Are Other Worlds Than These. The scene that happens when that line is said, those are the two best parts of the book. The rest of the book is kind of like, what's going on, where are we going, that kind of thing. It certainly isn't a fully fleshed out narrative. And it certainly doesn't have much of an ending to it. But also, if this book didn't exist, then the last book wouldn't be so fantastic. For those of you who have read the entire series, hopefully you agree with me. So at number 31, that's The Gunslinger. So are any of your favorites on this list? Are any of what you consider King's worst on this list? Let me know down there in the doobly-doo. But until next time, I have been E, you have been you. This has been another Stephen King Ranked. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye!